Hello and welcome back to Reading the Decades with me. Today I have my birthday book haul for you. My birthday was on the 16th and I got lots and lots of books, and I like to share them with you because there are lots of interesting titles. The first one I got, and that I lost it after for so many years, is The Seventh Function of Language by Laurent Binet, and I think that was translated from the French. It says Roland Barthes is knocked down in a Paris street by a laundry van. It's February 1980 and he has just come from lunch with François Mitterrand. Barthes dies soon afterwards. History tells us it was an accident, but what if it were an assassination? What if Barthes was carrying a document of unbelievable global importance, a document explaining the seventh function of language? An idea so powerful it gives whoever masters it the ability to convince anyone in any situation to do anything. Which just sounds absolutely incredible and absolutely amazing, and as somebody who studied literary science and cultural studies at university, this is something that I'm super interested in. The next book I got is Bruce Holsinger's The Gifted School. This finally came out in paperback, and I wanted it since it came out in hardback, but I really like paperback editions better than hardbacks, I found out recently. How far would you go to protect your child's future? In the peaceful, privileged community of Crystal, Colorado, a group of close friends are raising their families in harmony until one day news begins to spread that a gifted school will be opening its doors in their town. There are only a few places and the competition will be ferocious. So as a teacher, I'm obviously also really interested in that topic. I'm looking forward to reading this quite soon, actually. Another book that was on my wish list for quite some time, or for quite some years I should say, is That Mountain, the Untold True Story of the Dyatlov Pass incident by Donny Eicher. And this book is about a true event that happened in February 1959. A group of 9 experienced hikers in the Russian Ural Mountains died mysteriously on an elevation known as That Mountain. Eerie aspects of the incident, unexplained injuries, signs the hikers cut open and fled their tent without proper clothing or shoes. A strange final photograph taken by one of them and radiation readings on some of their clothes have led to decades of speculation over what really happened. So that sounds really eerie, spooky, and yeah, and obviously I'm very fascinated by it in the sense of that it is a true story. So yeah, looking forward to that one obviously as well. Then a fairly new release that I've seen only a few weeks ago in Waterstones is by Isenna Maxtone Graham, British Summertime Begins, the School Summer Holidays 1930 to 1980. So this is a non-fiction book about the British school holidays between the 1930s and 1980s, and a very interesting topic, and I think a very specific topic. And although it's the end of August now, and after my birthday I always feel ready for autumn, I hope I still read this in August, because otherwise I would have to wait a whole year, because I'm such a seasonal reader and I'm too intrigued to wait a whole year to read this. And another book I've seen in Waterstones and really had to have it, so I asked for it for my birthday, is Migrant City, A New History of London by Panikos Panayi. And this one is quite a big book, and well, it basically tells a bit of a different, more diverse history of London, from or where it includes all the migrants that formed London, and I think that's going to be a really interesting read. The next book is from the Italian, I believe, by Piero Boitani, A New Sublime 10 Timeless Lessons on the Classics. I really do lack a a knowledge about classical and ancient literature. I did Latin in school for lots and lots of years until nearly the end, but since then I've never done anything anymore with that, and also I've never really read any ancient and classic literature anymore, so I hope this book gets me back into that and I can fill this knowledge gap. Then a book that is going to be adapted into a film very soon, or maybe it already happened, is Dirt Music by Tim Winton. And I've seen that book and the story sounded intriguing, and so I thought before the film comes out and before I want to watch the film, I'd rather read the book first. This is about Georgie Jutland. She's a mess. At 40, with her career in ruins, she finds herself stranded with a man she doesn't love and 2 kids whose stepmother she can never replace. She spends her days in isolated tedium and her nights in a blur of vodka and self-recrimination, until early one morning she sees a shadow drifting up the beach below her house. It is Luther Fox, an outcast. And I think that sounds really interesting. I like to read about people who don't fit into society, and Luther Fox, the outcast, already sounds very intriguing. The next book is by Chi-Chin Liu, who has written 3 books all in one trilogy that I've read this year and was so impressed by. And this one is another science fiction novel by him. It's called The Supernova Era. This is about a supernova and its tsunami is going to hit the earth, and parents are going to prepare their children for the future that is to come, with the consequences of that event, like the radiation poisoning, and how the DNA is going to change in the ones that are going to survive, and obviously also talking about the lots and lots of deaths that are going to occur very soon after the supernova tsunami is going to hit the earth. So I think it's another very, very interesting read by this author, and also quite heartbreaking but absolutely intriguing and a very interesting thought experiment. Then I got a book by Marlon James, The Book of Night Women, which is set in Jamaica in 1785, and it's about slavery, and this is going to be a very hard read and sad read, but also very interesting. So yeah, this is set on a sugar plantation at the end of the 18th century, a time of uprisings and rebellion. Lilith has little hope of escaping a life ruled by the whip, but like the slave women who fear her, the instant she opens her eyes, Lilith sees life differently. This is going to be an amazing read, and a very heartbreaking read, I guess. Then I got The Enlightenment of the Green Age Tree by Shukufi Azar. I hope this is pronounced like that. I'm very sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. And I think that's about a family living through the times of the Iranian Revolution at the end of the 70s. And yeah, I think I really lack literature from Iran and Iraq, so I think I have to start there. And if you know any good books by Iranian authors, please recommend them to me, because I've never read anything. I think I've read a book books by Syrian authors. One of them is Rafik Shami. He's quite a big one in Germany, and I really like his books. But yeah, I think this is going to be the first one by an Iranian author, which is shocking, really. So yeah, I need to read a bit more diverse. Then a very interesting story that I discovered in Foils and immediately knew that is a book for me is The Fragments by Tony Jordan, and this book absolutely looks so stunning and pretty. When the beautiful reclusive Inga Carlson died in a fire in New York 1939, she left behind 3 things: a phenomenally successful first novel, the scorched fragments of a second book, and a mystery that has captivated generations of fans. Nearly half a century later, one of those fans, Brisbane bookseller Caddy Walker, is waiting in line for an exhibition. The famous Carlson fragments are in town. For Caddy, this is the biggest thing ever to hit Brisbane. But it's a chance encounter in the queue, a conversation with a stranger that will change her life. So, it sounds absolutely fascinating and absolutely right up my alley. And the last book I got is the William H. Gass Reader, a very, very big chunky book. I have The Tunnel by this author, which I haven't read yet, but I'm very, very interested in his non-fiction, and this reader contains mainly non-fiction. It has some excerpts from his fiction novels, but it's his essays that I'm really intrigued by, and especially his essays on literature. And so yeah, going to find out how I like his views on literature and topics that are dear to me and that I think about all the time. So yeah, very excited for this one as well, obviously. So these are all the books that I got for my birthday. Thank you very much to everybody who got them for me. I'm so blessed with a very loving family, and I'm very excited to read them all. And yeah, I hope I see you soon again in the next video. Until then, happy reading.